Welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to be speaking about modeling and finding successful people that you want to model. And in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing the traits that made Steve Jobs and Bill Gates such icons of our time.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Everyone listening to this podcast wants to go somewhere, wants to achieve something. Otherwise, you wouldn't listen to this one. The easiest way to get to where you want to go is to find someone that has done that and just model them. Find out what they did, how they did it, with who, with what resources, the mistakes that they made. And Bill Gates and Steve Jobs are a great example. Now, maybe you don't want to become an icon in the area of software or computers, but the lessons that you can learn from what they did can be very valuable to you and your life. I've studied both of these men for some time, and I noticed that there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. And I'm going to share those similarities that I see. This is not from some list. This is not from some Google search. This is from my own experience and my own observations. And it certainly is not a complete list. But what I want you to do is I'm talking about these various items. How does this apply to you? And what are you doing in these particular areas? The first one is imagination. Both of these men had incredible imagination. Now, I know some of you are sitting there going, well, Steve Jobs definitely had a lot more imagination than Bill Gates. But think about what Bill created. I mean, there was not a PC market. There was not the software that there is today as a result of Microsoft. Whether you like Microsoft or Apple, that's not the discussion here. But both these men had imagination. They had incredible vision to see the future. They designed products that were not already in the marketplace. They weren't trying to improve upon something. They were creating something that people didn't even know they wanted. Bill Gates' vision. He wanted to see every desk in the world have a PC and then being run by Microsoft. We didn't have PCs back then. Well, I mean, there were some around, but basically, people thought he was crazy. Why would you want a computer? What's a computer for? Those things sit in some room that take up half a building and they add stuff. Why would I want one on my desk? They certainly did not have smart goals. Yes, they were specific. Yes, they were measurable. Obtainable? Well, who knows about that? They certainly weren't realistic. And time-driven? Well, maybe. But the point is, they thought bigger than anybody thought was possible. Their goals were absolutely huge. They didn't limit themselves by what was done in the past or what they thought was possible. They dreamed big. They were both fearless and passionate about what they did. They lived, breathed, and ate everything to do with their companies and their mission. They had a single focus. They were not running around trying to figure out how to become a great tennis player or golfer on the weekend. Everything that they did was focused on the business and their objective of meeting their vision. They pushed themselves and the people around them to the breaking point. If you read about both these men, neither one of them were adored as a great boss. What a compassionate person. A lot of them thought that they were tyrants, right? Because they pushed themselves and their teams to the absolute breaking point, and they wanted more, more, more. They never let up. They did what they knew. They didn't sit around and go, okay, how do I make $1 billion? Okay, let me figure it out. Yeah, I know, I'm going to do this. No, they did what they knew. They were both working on computers from a very young age. It's said that Bill Gates had over 10,000 hours of training on computer programming before he was 20. In the heyday, everybody wanted into their companies. Everybody wanted to get into Apple. Everybody wanted to work for Microsoft. They were the companies that were going somewhere. Everybody wanted in. In your company, are people breaking down the doors to get in to work for you? If not, why not? They absolutely worked their butts off. They worked nonstop on their mission. They were not distracted. They worked around the clock to make their vision come true. Strong leadership. Both of these men have very strong personalities. They are not led around, they lead. Now, you may agree or disagree with their management style, but there was no question of who's in charge. In your company, is there a question of who's in charge? Are you leading or are you following? Both men made tons of mistakes along the way. They come out with a product that was complete disaster, right? They just pick themselves up and keep going. They embraced the failures. They did not limit themselves to say, okay, I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to try this because, whoa, what if it doesn't work? They didn't care. They had a vision and they were going to go at it 100%. They were always innovating. Every time they came out with a new product, they were trying to figure out the next product. And in many cases, they were willing to destroy the product before it. They were willing to go into a new product knowing that they were going to absolutely kill the product that was making them money. They had the courage, the foresight, and the vision to know what made us successful up to this point got us to this point. If we want to go to the next level, we have to innovate. We've got to get better. And in many cases, we had to destroy products that were making us millions. And finally, what both these men had in common, and every peak performer has in common, is they took their ideas, their dreams, and they executed on them. They got it done. Without the execution, nothing else matters. You'll hear me say this over and over and over and over again. Yes, it's great to have a great dream. It's great to have a great vision. However, if you can't execute on it, it doesn't matter. Get yourself around people that know how to execute, learn from them, and start building that muscle because you can always execute at a higher level. I'm amazed at myself sometimes of how far my execution levels have come, but there's still more. You can always get better at it. Keep working at it. Get better and better. Surround yourself with great people. If you're not already a member of the Peak Performance Nation private Facebook group, go over there, join, and start learning from some other peak performers. And contribute your ideas, your tools, your tricks, your strategies, so we can learn from you. Today's lesson, find someone that's getting the results that you want and model them. Find out what they're doing, how they're doing, in what steps they're doing them. If you do the same things, you're going to get the same results. That's the quickest way to go from where you are to where you want to go. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin. Click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.